long story short, my fibroids, there were three fibroids the size of grapefruits. One
Wow.
sat on my fallopian tube and my bladder. The other one just sat on another fallopian tube. So I was completely blocked, right? But let me tell you the crazy part.
Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today, we are continuing our testimonial series where we talk to those who have been participating in the R72 challenge, just to see from their perspective what this experience has been like, maybe some of the benefits, some of the obstacles, and of course, the outcomes. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome Miss Supernova to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
It's my pleasure, and it's been lovely speaking with you, just getting to know you a little bit before we started recording. But I wanted to ask you, how did you originally come across AHA?
That is a beautiful question. So I originally was introduced to AHA by my cousin in 2021, November of 2021. She told me that she met a guy at a detailing while getting her vehicle detailed, and it just so happened that guy was Coach Steve. So they she provided me with information and the name of the channel. So I wasn't there, of course. They met in Ohio. When she got his information, he gave her the card, and she knew that I was experiencing some over sexiness, I'm gonna call it, as
All
far as
right.
gain. And
Sexiness overload.
right, exactly. And I need to dial back some. So
Okay.
she, of course, my family is very transparent and very direct. So she said, this guy said that he lost 100 pounds. I looked at the channel. I haven't really she hadn't dug into the channel, but it looks like it's legit. So I said, all right, well, it can't help. Let me go. It can't hurt. Let me go ahead and check it out. So I go on YouTube, look up a healthy alternative. And I'm like, well, what did she? I think she said the guy name is Steve, but there's no way. I found one of your old interviews with Steve. And I'm like, there's no way the guy is this guy. So I call her like, oh, I'm watching the video right now. So what's the name of the guy? Is he in the group? Like, does he have information? She said, no, it's the guy in the actual interview. So that was pretty interesting. I was shocked, you guys are really super authentic and down to earth. And that day when she met Coach Steve, it was just so beneficial to me. And I'm here now. I'm grateful for that change.
Wow. It's funny because sometimes people will put little comments under our videos, and they'll say stuff like, Chris, you have no idea how many people you're touching, how many lives, da 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 da, or people will come into we have several different programs at this point, and people will be like, yeah, I was referred by a family member, or I had one lady who literally got her entire family, her mom, her son, her brother, her husband, like everybody. She sent everybody to us. And it's an absolute blessing. Like that was one of the things I really wanted to see happen, is for people to share this information with their friends and family. So to have you here today as a result of that is just icing on top of the cake.
Thank you. And that's what happens when you're working in your purpose, right?
Oh yeah. See,
So
because go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, just like you and your family building y'all legacy, it's really helping with health disparities for minorities throughout the nation and around the world. Because I know a lot of people in the Caribbean are tuned into AHA. So I just think that's super dope. And I have my own goals as far as assisting with the delivery of health, in improving health disparities throughout our community.
Okay. Well, I like that. I like that. So I wanted to ask, you're in the R72 challenge. Is this the first time you did a challenge with us?
No, it's the third challenge.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. The first challenge that I completed with AHA was in February or March. Correct me if I'm wrong, of last year. I can't recall. It was kind of like
I believe it might have been March. We had a lot going on. I think we did our retreat in February. I don't remember.
yes.
It's
Okay,
right.
gotcha. And let me tell you, guys, if you're on the fence about whether or not you're deciding to join, just go ahead and join, because I was on the fence. I kind of, in New York, we say hummus stunted, but I like
Mhm.
kind of hummus stunted. And I think it was the week that that challenge was supposed to begin. Chris, you actually said, you know what, I'm going to leave it open for another week since so many people are asking me about it. I was like, oh man, I don't get paid until Tuesday, like I need to get in this, you know. And I was asking Coach Steven, was like, no, it's closed. And I was like, okay. And then I asked again during your live, and you were like, you know what, since everybody's asking, I'm just going to go ahead and give y'all another week. So that's how I got
Wow.
to the first challenge.
Oh, wow. You know, it's funny because I actually I went back and forth with that because you know, from the standpoint of like somebody who's creating this course and you know, you want to create a certain environment internally. I'm like, is it going to help or hurt us to allow people in late? Is it going to help or hurt that person? So it wasn't just as simple as, yeah, just come on in, you know, because there's a certain experience that I want people to have. And I think that at this point, we've kind of figured out how to facilitate and make it make sense for people. But
Right.
I was really going back and forth, and I suppose you maybe were one of the people that like one of the straws that broke the camel's back. I said, "All right, y'all keep asking, come on in," and we made it happen. But you had a good experience in spite of all that.
Absolutely. I am Coach Steve works in and specializes in emotional intelligence. And
Mhm.
I am emotionally intelligent, I'd like to think. But I'm not good at expressing that openly,
Mm.
and just being in a group of um, like-minded people with the AHA community, that really helped me to open up and be transparent about where I am. And I never forget, in your video, you're like, you know, you are where you are. And that's so real. I didn't get it until I'm like, yo, why the scale won't go down? And the number on the scale won't go down. And then I'm like, you know what? Chris is right. I am where I am. I just need to work, you know, to get to where I want to be.
That scale is it's an interesting thing. It's like it's a double-edged sword for a lot of people, you know. One of the good things about the R72 challenge is that for the first time, you know, we built a curriculum and really focused on weight loss for people. Um, and so everything is designed to make the process seamless and to just make sure that you guys are seeing that scale move. So
Definitely.
the information is curtailed in that way. What has been your experience thus far? Because you've been in you were in the 21-day challenge before, so this is
Correct.
a different challenge. But what has
Correct.
your experience been in this R72?
Okay. So with the R72, my experience has been consistent. And I want to use consistency because when I was participating in the past challenges, I would do great until about 10 days typically. And then once I made it to like 12 days. And then I would need to have something. I can't do this, you know,
Yeah.
like but with the R72, I find myself just, I would say in comparison to the 21-day challenge, kind of floating through it. Don't get me wrong, I still have moments where I'm thinking, especially when you hit that first 24 hours when you're rolling back in,
Mm.
you kind of get that taste for like my quinoa that I've been making in my wrap, you know, like you get
Yeah.
that taste. But I mean, it's been a lot easier. The courses are phenomenal. I really appreciate the detail that you guys provide us with. Sometimes you need somebody to hold your hand, right?
Mm.
Um, and people are different learners. Some people are visual, some people are auditorial. So you know, just having the lives as well, when it all comes together, it I can tell that you guys put a tremendous amount of effort into the program. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. You know, one of the things that irks my soul is I don't know if it's a problem that we have or if it's just people, you know, kind of just being people. But we have all the course curriculum that goes along with it. And I'm like, are people watching the videos? Do they know? Are they paying attention? And I think that there's so much added benefit if you're watching the course, if you're
Mhm.
like, you know, consuming the course curriculum. And so
Yeah.
it always brings a smile to my heart when people are like, "Yeah, I watch it." I'm like, "Yes," because you know, a lot of people just they look. In my opinion, I think the greatest benefit of being in a group coaching is the group itself. So,
Right.
you know, a lot of the synergy from the group is amazing, but getting that nuanced information from the course curriculum, I think that technical help is very beneficial. I just like highlighting it. So if you guys are watching this and you
Mhm.
think, okay, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna try this R72, I'm gonna get on board, or whatever challenge we have at the time, make sure that you watch that course curriculum. Okay, we touched on, you know, why your family had originally kind of introduced you to AHA. I'm curious to know what are some of the outcomes that you're looking to achieve.
So when I first joined AHA, I weighed in at 248 pounds. That was heartbreaking for me.
Mm.
um, I grew up playing sports, softball, drill team, like totally an
Mm.
active person. You know what I mean? Anything that I could do to get out of the house and just be active, I was there. So when I hit that 248 pounds, I was just like, nah, something has to change. I was working out, nothing was out. The scale still wasn't moving the way I wanted to. I know they say weighs more than fat, but it was just like it was not working. My hormones were everywhere. It was a mess, right? So when I was introduced to AHA, I had knee surgery where I had a mass in the bone to my knee,
Mm.
and uh, no one wanted to touch me throughout Hampton Roads. I'm in VA, so I went to like this surgeon who's supposed to be the top surgeon. She's done surgeries for women who played on the Olympic volleyball team, literally, not figuratively. Like when you walk in her office, you see that big, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
she said, I'm going to send you to an oncologist. And he told me about the mass. They did the scans. There was a whole bunch of testing, and they were like, listen, you have vessels intertwining, it's creating a mass, which I'm glad that I followed my intuition because I used to do boxing. I told you I like to be active. So I used to
I
do
see.
boxing and like, do like small hikes, do like go walking with the walking group. We try to walk an average of 21 to 30 miles a week, which was pretty fun,
Nice.
right? So but when I started feeling that injury, that tug in my knee, I knew something was wrong, and I couldn't. It got to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. So anyway, long story short, the doctor decided a miracle happened. The heavens opened up, and I had my surgery done in 2 months because everyone was on a waiting list, but somebody canceled their surgery, and it was like, okay, no one wants to move up, and we know we just saw you last month. Instead of doing it next year, do you want to do it now? I was like, please, yes, I need
Wow.
to do it now. So got it done. Um, then that was what, August, September, and then 3 months later, 2 to 3 months later, my cousin introduced me to AHA, and I've been riding that coattail since until now.
Nice, nice. Okay.
Oh, so
Um,
let me tell you the benefits, right? Sorry, like when you had that epiphany moment. So let me
mm,
tell you one of the benefits of AHA. So when I had the surgery, the healing process and Chris, I've sent you some of the photos via email if you want to share with the group or the community, is fine. But the actual scar, it was raised. My first fasting challenge, 21-day challenge, that it was flat. Like
oh,
yeah. So my body, like I noticed that my body was so inflamed. The first thing it was doing during my first 21-day challenge was getting rid of the inflammation. So that was pretty cool to see. Like I did a dry fast, um, a 3-day dry fast before I did the 21-day challenge with you guys, and that's really what got me going. Where I was like, nah, I need a group because I saw myself lose 8 pounds in 3 days, and then I gained it back. So
yeah.
then no, I need the group. Like I need that
Yeah.
support. So yeah, that was one of the benefits with AHA, fasting and the group. Like everyone holds you accountable, and if you put in the work and you're transparent, you're going to get the results.
Transparency is huge. Yeah, a lot of people are you know, when we talk about the internet, especially like social media, and when you look at traditional groups similar to like AHA, there's a lot of infighting, there's a lot of putting down. You know what I mean? We know how the internet can be a toxic place, but AHA communities are not, it's not like that. Um, Even if you go to the YouTube channel, which is the most exposure that AHA gets, because I'm only just now getting on TikTok. You don't even, if you look at the comment sections, it's 95% positive. Like, we just don't, it's the energy around the group. It's like this bubble that envelops us and, you know, pretty much keeps out all the toxicity and the negative thinking. But Stephen actually had a very similar experience. He had a keloid on his arm, on his, like his forearm, from being kicked with cleats, with metal cleats when he was playing football as a child. And in that interview we did with him, you know, in the kitchen, he realized, he was like, "Oh wait, it's gone." You know, the scar and the keloid had gone away. But you're really just the second time I've heard that. I know it's possible and everything makes sense, but um, so if you guys are out there and you're getting surgery, then you know obviously fasting, dietary habits, and things can help aid in the healing process. We know that. What are some of the outcomes that you're looking to get outside of, I guess, what you've already shared with us?
So to find that balance between my shadow self,
Mm,
right? So, and when I say my shadow self, I use that term loosely. um, a lot of times, for years, I was going to church, and I go to church and feel whole in the beginning of church, and then right before I leave, I feel like I need to repent, because if I don't return to Bible study on Wednesday, I'm not, I'm not in good
uh,
standing with the Lord.
yeah, yeah.
Um, AHA wellness aspect has helped me to become centered, where I'm actually embracing more of myself. I'm more present. I hope to, by the end of, well, hope it will never be an end of my journey, to be honest. But my journey with AHA, I hope my goal is to be 130. I was speaking to Coach Steve, and he was saying like that bounce back is 140. That's where I really want to be.
Mm.
I'm only like 5'5", and right now I weighed myself this morning. I'm 203. So
Okay.
I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. But like as far as wanting to become active again, when I was at my lowest, that was 165. I was training to do bodybuilding, and that didn't happen because I got injured. So
Right.
um, life is interesting. Things happen for a reason, but really, my goal is to be around like-minded people. That's so important and vital to my journey,
Mm.
that if I ignore that, and I guess it's not to say that I'm trying to ignore anything else that's valid as far as my personal goals, as far as a quantitative and qualitative analysis, but for me to be within and be consistent, to keep going where I need to go, I have to be around like-minded people, because it's a slippery slope.
Yeah. I can vouch for being around like-minded people. So like um for me it wasn't as intentional because I was really kind of just fumbling through everything. And I didn't understand what I was doing. A lot of it was intuitive, but I remember thinking, I'm trying to think at what point this was. It was at the very, very beginning of my health and wellness journey, and my mindset started to shift. So as I started to expel mucus, and I was getting better clarity, and I wanted people around me that were really edifying me. I went through, and already didn't have a big friend circle, but I started letting people fade away from my life that weren't edifying me. And sometimes, you know, it sounds like, oh, there were bad people. I never kept bad people around me. But sometimes you have people around you that just use a lot of negative reinforcement. You know,
Mm,
it's just what they do. It's how they joke. It's how they play. It's kind of how they show love, if you will. And for
problem
some
therapy.
reason, I became super sensitive to it, and I couldn't be around them anymore. And I'm sure there's some people that are upset at me out there for, you know, I guess whatever I might have said to them. It was nothing was like, it was never out of like dislike or hate or anything. It was just like, hey, I need to be around people that practice positive reinforcement. And I would love for you to be one of them people, but you're not that person now. And so I got to do what's best for me. So, I shrank my group down, but now everybody around me is like minded. And I think once I was able to accomplish that, my expansion grew exponentially. So like relationally, I mean, I only have healthy relationships. Like people can't say that, but
Fact.
I had to let a lot of people go, family members, friends, long time. It didn't matter. I had to let them
It
go,
hurts. It's
huh?
not. It's not like it doesn't hurt. It does hurt, but you got to do what you got to do. I get
Gotta
it.
do what you gotta do. And
Yeah.
it's so worth the outcomes. And you're one of the few people that have really highlighted that I've talked to. So I'm glad that you highlighted that, because it's that old saying, you're the sum total of the five people you spend your most of your time with. And people think that, let's say, okay, so sometimes you're the light of your group, right? You're the light, you're the light, but you spend your time with these other people who aren't. Well, guess what? The impact you have on them is going to slowly but surely diminish, because the people around you they're not refueling you. So you're
Mhm.
giving your light away, and then you're not getting anything back. And eventually you start to develop their habits. It's kind of inevitable. I
So true.
mean, even I had to get away from my friends, and I have a huge impact on people around me. um I usually can influence people, and I'm not trying to, it's just my personality.
Right.
But I can't, it's just there's a limitation. So anyway, I'm sorry, I just wanted to
No,
highlight
you're
that.
good. Like I definitely vibe with that because there's like a saying, like if I'm just, and I heard one of my former the president for the former company that I work for said, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I have to switch
Yeah,
my environment. I have to change my environment. I
change
should
your
never
environment.
be in a room, or you should never be in a room with and be the smartest person. If that is the case, something's wrong. That means that you're definitely not growing, or you've been stagnated for a while and you just never.
Yeah,
So definitely. Thanks for
that's
sharing.
it. One of the main things that you had mentioned that you were able to overcome was hormone imbalance. Can you talk a little bit about what you were experiencing as it related to hormone imbalance?
Sure. So with hormone imbalance, I think what contributed mostly to that was my menstrual cycles. Um, I started my menstrual when I was 7, and it was like 3 to 5 days. By the time I was 14, 15, it was 7 to 10 days.
Mm, wow.
That was to be the norm for a menstrual cycle. Hit my 20s, like, I think something is off.
You start at 7 years old. That's early to start for women, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's but I think that was like due to like molestation at a young age. So
Um,
that was around that time frame, or that was um yeah, so like that was the middle of that time frame.
wow.
So, I think that really contributed to it. So then once I hit my preteen, after my preteens, I'm in my teenage years now, 15, 14, 15, those things of the sort. That's when it went up to 7 to 10 days. And that was rough, especially trying to play sports and everything like that. And my hormones were out of whack. So it pretty much, when I was in high school, my face I had great skin, no problems. It was when I hit my 20s, and then not 20s, a little bit 30s, it was like, oh, we're making up for what we missed in your teenage years. So
Ah,
the photo that I shared with you, that was a photo of what my face looked like um, after I had the surgery. So
the knee surgery.
no, after I had my fibroid removal surgery.
Oh, okay, okay.
So um, myomectomy. So what what happened with that was just like ultimate flare up, but before that, I would just see little outbreaks, rashes around my over my body. I would get what they called. I remember one time I called my mom, like, Mama, I think I got, what is this? This looks like the monster, like, herpes. And I was like, but I've not been doing anything. I know. So what's
Right.
going on? And she was like, that you are a hypochondriac. Chill out, first of all. Then secondly, she was like, just go to the doctor and see what's up. So I go to my doctor and he was like, have you been stressed? Have you been this? Have you been that? Long story short, he was saying that whenever I maintain my regular schedule, but my workload is a bit hectic. Um, right before my menstrual, it it makes it to where my body has to release something, and
Mm.
that like heat stripes. It looks like little heat rashes, but there were stripes coming down my face.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it was crazy. Um, that's what happened because I was my body was telling me, hey, you're overworking me, things of the sort. But yeah, besides me tearing down my relationships and having outbreaks and things of the sort, I don't know if you consider that a big deal, but
Yeah.
it's a big deal to me.
And that's actually because you had mentioned the interview I did with my friend Tiffany,
Mhm.
who, she had mentioned that, she had ended relationships based on, her cycles and just the hormonal imbalance that comes along with that. Um, I think in this day and age, in the modern age, it's already difficult enough to be able to maintain healthy relationships, and you add that to the mixture, and I'm sure it just feels like impossible.
Yeah, it does. It in hindsight, you're like, okay, that really wasn't that big of a deal, but
Yeah.
it was at that time. Like you're
Yeah.
literally enraged, and there's no off switch. But again, I just wish AHA was available 7-8 years ago. It would have been.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just at that time, what I noticed was a lot of people were going through a switch at the same time as I was, and they were looking at things differently. Like, when you're a child or just being younger, you think you're invincible, you know what I'm saying? Then you start getting older, but like when I think of older, I think of like, 40, 50, well, more like 60. You know what I'm saying? So like my grandparents, well, first of all, none of my grandparents was really losing hair that I know of. My grandma, she's like 91 or 92, and she still has a full head of hair. So my hair started thinning, and at 24, I was having blood pressure issues, and just many other things, and it started compounding around that age of 28, 30 years old. And I'm like, how is my body this damaged and this old? And that's when I kind of started to make that shift. But a lot of people seem to be on that journey around the same time. So I think there's a shift in consciousness worldwide, or at least in in our modern worlds, where we don't pay as much attention to like health and wellness.
Mhm.
Um, so listen, better late than never. We'll say that.
That
And
for sure.
um, so this is you went through a lot, and I think that when it comes to modern relationships, I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit. I see a lot of erratic behavior. I mean, everybody has it, but I deal with women, so I see it more with women because I deal with women. And
Of course.
I think that a lot of it is health. It's not because a lot of women just think, you know what I mean? Like it's like they're hot and cold, and they're all over the place, and they just kind of think that's just how I am. It's my personality, but I don't think it's the personality. I think it's
Yeah.
chemical imbalances, hormonal imbalances, and things that we're not looking at.
Mhm.
Um, so
Very
it's important to highlight that, because if we never talk about it, women holistically are not going to look at it.
yeah.
And when you look at women, what you all consume, like it's not just food. You all also consume a lot of chemicals in your makeup and the hair products and lipstick and things of that nature.
Let me
That
tell you
men,
about yourself, Chris.
huh? What you gonna tell me?
Listen, people, I gotta interject, right? Because Chris, who was it? Coach Animated Mel,
Yeah,
Steven, you guys, Coach Shells, Coach Jazz, you guys were in a former video. and you guys started talking about women's makeup, and I was like, really? Is that right? Okay, so then, I mean, I was a bit butthurt, for lack of a better term,
Uh-huh.
but I mean, the truth is the truth, right? So you never shy away from it. If anything, you might feel some type of way, but you're gonna look on it, and you can't sell a 6 for a 9. So that I just want to thank you guys, because that encouraged me to go ahead and say, you know what? I said I'm going vegan. I need to start switching over to vegan all the way. So even
Mm.
my nail polish is vegan. Like I mean,
Oh.
yeah, that live y'all did, I think that was like 3 or 4 months ago. But yeah, that awakened me to the fact, like, hey, be more conscious, because the facts are the facts. It's not going to change. The numbers don't lie. So yeah, I
Mm.
just wanted to say that. Sorry.
No, listen, I appreciate the feedback because uh yeah, I know. Listen, I don't tough love, I guess. I don't know. Like people, I get passionate. Here's the thing. I can't deliver it very softly because I'm passionate and I love my women. And also I love the community. So I want people to be healthy. And I feel like I think that because people um it's this idea that this is the standard. Like this is the standard. This is the standard of beauty right now. It is what it is. No one's gonna change. Da, da, da. And I don't think people really believe that. I think that if they understood the impact that these things were having, because like most of y'all are already beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like you're most women, and I'm just most people are naturally beautiful, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think most people are just naturally beautiful. Of course, you can use makeup and things to highlight. So if you focus on your health and your wellness and the health of your skin, that's going to be your makeup, you know? And then of course you get the longevity out of it. Cause like when you use makeup or whatever, to artificially enhance, it
Mhm.
also has there's a detrimental side of it. You know,
Right.
it's clogging your pores, it's seeping into your bloodstream. Um, it's
Lymphatic,
messing up with your hormone.
mhm.
Huh?
Lymphatic system.
The lymphatic systems, yeah, getting clogged. So it's like, I know it's more work, but also like you had mentioned, you know, when in your teens, you had great skin,
Yeah.
right? Well, I didn't. My skin was trash, especially like later, maybe like 12th grade year going into like college.
Mhm.
And I was using what's it called?
Noxzema.
Pro, Proactive? Is that what it was called?
Oh my gosh. Yes, it is proactive. It's terrible.
Proactive. Proactive was trash. And you know, but I cared about my skin. I didn't have any knowledge. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know I just needed to drink water and change how I was eating.
Yeah.
um So I think that when people understand the core problems and they want certain outcomes, they want healthy skin, they want, you know, long hair and strong nails, and they understand, okay, you could do XYZ to get this outcome, I think they're more willing to do it. And I think that you would kind of exemplified that. Uh,
Thank you. Can
I
I be
love that.
to AHA? Um, and there are nuances, right? So what you're saying is 1000% true. But if there are women like out there like me, I'm going to want to enjoy my makeup. I'm being more conscious with what I put in my body. So of course I'm switching over everything to vegan products. Um, with that being said, it takes me about 10 minutes. And the reason it takes me 10 minutes to get done, literally, is because I have good skin. Um, a lot of the what is it, the TikToks or the do-it-yourselves on YouTube, these women are taking 25, 30 minutes. And they have
Mhm.
to take that time because they're covering up something like a blemish or
True.
something like that. But I can honestly say, since I've been a part of the AHA community, my time for me, like just saying, okay, well, I want to look fresh, will take like 7 to 10 minutes, and I'm completely done. I'm like putting my compact up and everything like that. So
Yeah.
for ladies, to put it out there.
That's man, I've never heard that one before. Though, because like just, you know, from a male's perspective, we just assume it's gonna take y'all an hour and a half to get ready. You know what I'm saying? I was literally just talking to my friends about it like a couple weeks ago. Um, So one of the off benefits of changing the lifestyle and being more intentional about the health and wellness is skin looks better, it's clear. It reduces the amount of time to put on makeup and get ready because you're not doing so much work to kind of get that look you want. So that's actually a really, really big benefit.
Yeah, 1000%.
So when you had your surgery to have the fibroids removed,
Hmm.
what has your experience been like since then? Because I think a lot of women who have those surgeries, the fibroids end up coming back. Um,
Um,
what's your experience been?
all right, so let's get into it. Let me give you the tea. Okay, so my fibroids, I had 3 large fibroids, right? At first they said they were the size of acorns. When I got out of surgery, they kept me overnight in the OR. They wanted to just observe me. My mother came down from New York. I told her I tried to play it off like it was something minor. I lived by myself, so I honestly did not understand the magnitude of the surgery, to be
Mm,
honest. I thought I'd be able to get in and out of bed by myself. But
mm,
literally, I'm so grateful my mother came down because she had to help me just switch positions to put my foot down off the bed to get up out of the
wow,
bed. So, you know, yeah, but long story short, my fibroids, there were 3 fibroids the size of grapefruits. One
wow,
sat on my fallopian tube and my bladder, and the other one just sat on another fallopian tube. So I was completely blocked, right? But let me tell you the crazy part. So, how did I really decide I'm going to go ahead and go to a doctor who's going to take me serious? Because for years, throughout all my 20s, I was going to these GYNs and they were always female because I was experiencing, I didn't realize the depth of it, post traumatic stress from my molestation. So I would never want to go to a male GYN, right? So I was going to these female GYNs and they were so dismissive.
mm,
It was like somebody who made me their nemesis, and I didn't even know. Like, you mad at me? Like, you think I slept with your man or something? Like I
right,
was walking into a doctor's office and interacting with actual doctors. And these were doctors that I was dealing with, not their nurses. Actual doctors were saying, girl, you haven't felt anything, just being super dismissive. Wait till you have children. And it was just so bad. And it got to the point where I was like, I would go to the restroom and I'm like, listen, this is not me. Like, every woman knows their own natural body scent and the chemistry of their body. And I'm like, this is not me. Something's up. So when I started working for my current job in 2019, March, was it March? Yeah, March of 2019. This is when I knew it was real bad. And I was like, nah, this is a rubber dub dub. I got to do something. So I was sitting on the toilet and still peeing myself. And I was
mm,
like, no, something is wrong. Like, I literally remember like a couple days, I think 2 or 3 days, like just being in the work at work in the restroom and crying because I'm saying to myself, I am at first I thought it because usually you stand up and you kind of stoop down to use the restroom because it's a public facility, but then they
right,
have little, things that you could put around the seat.
mm-hmm,
And when I did that 3 different times, every time I was wetting my clothes.
mm,
Like, at that time I was in my early 30s. So I'm like, something's wrong.
yeah.
Um, so then and I'm just gonna keep it funky, if that's okay.
Listen, you already know how we do here.
Let's get into it. So I was with this guy about 4 years ago. And men, y'all are intuitive too. So he goes, listen, I think something is wrong. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, I think he was like, yeah, you're this, you're this, you're that. But when we get to this threshold, I feel like there's something there. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
So he was like, so what do you think? And I was like, I've always thought that way and I've always felt that way. And I keep going to these GYNs and they're telling me there's nothing wrong. It's all in my head. He was like, no, they're lying.
crazy.
Because he was like, and he'd been around the block. So I was like, like, so he knew he already had 4 kids at that time. So he knows, and I'm not even going to go into the details, but he knew what it, like that threshold portion should not or should feel like typically.
Yeah.
Of course, each woman is different, but I mean, I felt the same way. So, I didn't say anything. I was like, thank you for telling me that, because that's like a certain maturity that you have to actually
Yeah,
have
for
that
sure.
conversation. And ladies, I know it's hard because sometimes we feel like we're almost being shamed by
Mhm.
men, but it's not coming from a place of shame. It's coming from a place of concern. Now, if it's done in public on display or he's recording while he's telling you, that's completely different.
Right.
But
Yeah.
this was an intimate exchange of communication. So I said, you know what? I know it's not in my head now. So now I felt liberated. Now, Priscilla, I told you about my shadow side. I got a little beast mode. Once I have a bone to pick, you're not derailing me from that.
Right.
I went ahead and I found a new. I did some research, found a new gynecologist. They were like, "Oh, this gynecologist is the best. Oh, this person delivered all my babies." I was like, "Oh, I gotta go to this person." When I looked, it was a guy. I was like, "Oh gosh, this is a man." So I was like, "You know what? I done been to so many different female gynecologists, and they literally tried to dismiss my concern for the initial visit and also put me on contraceptives. Like, first off, I don't do contraceptives. Like, I know myself. So, like, because my menstrual was so long, they were like, "Oh, let's just get you on contraceptive." No, because I know if I take this contraceptive, I'm gonna gain 15 pounds in 2 weeks. Like, I've
Right.
done that. Like, I'm not doing that. And then my hormones were already imbalanced. So you only
Right.
contributed to the problem. So um I went to Dr. Derwin is his name. And when I tell you, this guy, like, he just had a knack. He knew exactly what was up. His office is set up in such a way like it's a one-stop shop setup. So when I went to his office, down the hall is where they had me do the sonogram.
Hmm.
And they
Now,
found him.
was that the first time you had got a sonogram?
Yeah. Isn't that sad?
Wow.
That's sad, right?
Crazy.
Because and when you talk about the consciousness, like, that really resonated with me, because I was going to Black women doctors. Like, oh, I want to
Mm,
support my Black people. I want to do this and I want to do that. But I'm going to be
yeah.
honest with you, just because it's skin folk ain't kin folk. Like,
Yeah.
like, you gotta really go to where, and I'm not putting anyone down, but I'm just saying, if you have um awareness or a knowing about yourself, and somebody who's just met you is disregarding everything, you gotta go where you celebrated, where you'll be taken seriously, because people are not going to take you seriously until you start taking yourself seriously.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to Dr. Derwin, got the sonogram done. They found it and they were like, "Look, we need to get you in here ASAP." So it's so crazy because that surgery was like a month and a half. I was in surgery. And he thought that the surgery was going to take 2 hours. It took 5. That's
Wow.
that's how bad it was. Yeah, because when they went in, they didn't expect all of that to be there. So
Right.
um he was saying, like, I don't know why. When I did my follow-up, he was like, I don't understand why you waited so long. And I was just explaining, I was telling him my experiences that I had with other practitioners who were African American females. And it
Hmm.
was sad, but I'm so grateful that led me to him.
What a what a crazy roller coaster.
Yeah.
Um, I don't that just that so many things are going through my head because you are certainly not the first woman that has said that they've experienced this type of treatment. And it's just so cringy that it's coming from, somebody from your own culture that you would think would what I mean, care even more about you. Like,
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, you should care about everybody, but I'm just saying, like,
But
um,
hindsight's 2020, because she was married to our former, was it the former treasurer or something like that? And then he got locked up for like fraud. So Yeah, like 3 years later. So hindsight's 2020. So, sometimes I can at least speak for myself. I identify people with these MDs behind them. I automatically equated that to some level of integrity, and that's not the case. And I just
Right.
the hard way. So I hope that me sharing this would prevent someone from having that same experience.
Oh, trust me, you just spoke to a very large group of people. We'll say that. Fibroids affect women in the African American community at astronomical rates. 97% of women are dealing with fibroids, whether they're big or small. A lot of them are smaller, and women don't realize it. They've got small the hormonal imbalance is smaller, the pain is smaller, the irregular cycles, everything is it's on a smaller scale, so they don't know, they just think it's normal, but it's
Mhm.
not normal. And a lot of these issues are environmental. If not, I mean, the mass majority of it is environmental. It's not anything that you have to deal with. We've talked about this at length in different videos and things of that nature. um so since that you got the surgery, I'm assuming you felt better, right? Like,
Oh, immediately. It was crazy, Chris. Like, so first of all, they were playing one of my favorite songs, and all the nurses started singing it, and I was out. I don't even remember when I went out. And then and then they when I woke up, like my sisters were there, my Eastern Star sisters were there in the room with me waiting for me. Like, I was so grateful because my mom, she couldn't make it from New York in time to like see me when I got right out of surgery. But my people's, they're gonna hold me down. So my doctor even made a comment about it. He was like, "You must be famous because you had a lot of visitors." And I was like, "I'm not famous,"
right.
Um, but yeah, when I woke up, I felt lighter on the inside.
Mm.
It, I knew that feeling. The only thing that I can use to describe that feeling is my adolescent stage,
Wow.
like kindergarten or something. And the only reason why I still remember those stages is because, each time you hit a new milestone, like having children and things of the sort, you kind of forget the past because you're building new memories. So they kind of go into your subconscious. But I haven't hit that milestone where I built my family yet. So those things are still more fresh to me.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, like I hadn't felt like that since probably 5, 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So listen, there's one thing that I do want to make sure that everybody understands. Obviously, you have to be your own wellness advocate. You know what I mean? And I think that's the greatest thing you could take from this story. You have to go where people are willing to listen. I mean, I had my own experience with this as well, where I was dealing with an infection. Kind of like, one of the things that drove me to do my focus on my health was this infection that I had. Um, don't know what it was till this day. Never found out. Got all the testing done. You know what I mean? And because the tests weren't coming back with anything substantial, the doctors are like, "Yeah, it might be in your head." It's kind of like
I
you're,
remember those videos.
yeah. And so your story resonates with me because it's essentially the same. It's like something's wrong, but they're like trying to almost convince you, like, nah, you're making it up.
Mhm.
Um, so you
Gaslight.
have to be your own wellness advocate, and if you take control of it, yes, it's a lot of responsibility, and we've been taught we're supposed to put it on the white coats. We're supposed to. That's their job. That's what they go to college for, 100 years for. But the reality is, nobody knows your body better than you. Like, nobody. So you're going to be the best person to do this. Now, in your story and where you were in life, it made sense to get the surgery done. But one thing that I want to point out is you can reverse these problems naturally. And this is why, I asked you about, how are you feeling now, especially now that you've kind of started moving towards being conscious about your health and your eating habits and things. Because not only can you eliminate, fibroids and PCOS and, endometriosis and a lot of these issues that women deal with, you can maintain healthy living through dietary change, fasting, drinking
Right.
water, eliminating, dehydrating foods, right?
Absolutely. So like now the way that I feel as far as what my journey looks like with my lifestyle change and dealing with endometriosis, I feel like I have all the tools and they're already implemented to prevent them from coming back. That was one of the questions that you asked me earlier. I definitely feel like I have all those tools. Now, all things being equal, when last year I did have to go back for a DNC because there was some things that still weren't cleaned up. And I'm just going to give you and the community the rationale for my decision, because from what I can remember experiencing trauma from molestation from like 4 to 10, um, I felt like my womb had been, of course, was violated, but experienced so much trauma,
Mm.
um, that I had to give myself a fair opportunity and start. So, and when you think about it, I was silent for a long time. I didn't tell my mom what was going on until I was like in my preteens. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, just a part of the HA community has attributed to my decision and my level of consciousness with that decision, because doing my daily affirmations, one of my thing is womb therapy and making sure that I understand what my body needs, how to be in alignment with that, how to be in agreement with that on different aspects. So when it came to them saying, hey, and they didn't even tell me I needed the DNC, I was telling them because I
Mm.
started to feel something that I was like, nah, they didn't get everything. And I ended up going back to my GYN son instead, because my GYN was like, you good, girl. All you got to do is just, go ahead and start
Mm.
your family. I'm like, nah, I'm not good.
Huh.
There's something wrong. And the reason that I knew I wasn't good was because I started clotting again, like heavy,
Mm.
heavy. And it was like almost heavier than what I saw in years.
Mm.
So I was like, no, something's not right. So when I went to his son was like, well, we can do a cleanup. Usually when you hear DNC, people think like it's an abortion. So that's not the case. Please don't think that. It's just a cleanup. And I had a lot of scar tissue.
Yeah.
I want my Buddha head babies, like I want them running around. So I had to, make sure that I'm conscious of that. And you are right. My diet was poor. My mom was not home a lot of the time. She worked, she sacrificed, she took care of the entire family in 2 different countries. So kudos to her. That
Wow.
that's not any shade to my mother. She did what she had to do. And actually, that's my sojourner truth. That's my Harriet Tubman. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still have a responsibility as an adult to change that rhetoric. And
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing, that's what I'm here for. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I think it's so important for people to be able to get the full picture. And I think this is also why holistic wellness is important. It's why I built the brand on holistic wellness, because surgery is like a tool that you could use, but then you have to think about all of the things that come along with it. Sometimes it could feel like a shortcut, but then also it can also end up being more work in the long run. I think that it's a great tool in emergency situations for certain things, and I
Yeah.
think for other things, um, a holistic approach is better. And you got to do what you got to do with the knowledge that you have at the time. And but for those who are watching, right, like for women who are watching now, if you feel like something's off, obviously you can go to your doctor. You can get confirmation if that's what it takes. But I think that it can be used as motivation to be like, okay, I got to make these changes. You know what I mean? Because I most women from just conversations I have had and conversations I've seen, they want to have children. Not only do they want to have children, they don't want to have complications during birth, like all of the things that come along with fibroids
Preeclampsia.
and right. So
Mhm.
so it's a great motivator, I think, to approach this um just from a standpoint of building building the generation to come, like and the ease Like a lot of women just believe, okay, it's going to be painful, it's going to be hard, I'm going to be throwing up. I have seen some extremely pleasant pregnancies from women who have decided to change their health and wellness, lose weight, like get healthy. And I ask them, what was your pregnancy like? What was the experience like? And they're like, it was amazing. Besides the fact that you could see that my belly was poked out, you never would have known I was pregnant. Like
Right.
no crazy cravings and crazy eating, no morning sickness, none of the stuff that we've been taught is supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, one super plug. Like, I gotta give you so much props. This is why I really admire like your ambition and your drive, right? So I had to get educated when I came to AHA because I wasn't privy to fruits. I really wasn't. Like, my idea of fruits were like they had no ovaries at all. It was bad. It was bad. So then when I started getting into the videos and getting with the community, and I'm seeing, and that's the benefit of synergy as well, right? Because you see other people posting, you're like, I saw that, but now that they mention it, it seems like it's important. I need to really look up what that means. So I started eating more ovary foods like tomatoes, avocados, um, cantaloupe, honeydew, um, making sure not just tomatoes, plum tomatoes, like
Mm,
certain type. I was just gonna, and I'm like, no, this ain't for me. Genetically
right.
modified. Let me go here. You know. So, thank you for that because it's so true. Your body's not a swap meet. It's not a sweatshop. You know, like you don't want to have people running in and running out of it. And
Yeah.
that's what surgery kind of is, you know, like you said, for emergency purposes only. But I'm so glad that you educated me with that and shared that knowledge because I now have the tools for preventative measures moving.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What do they say? An inch of prevention is better than a pound of cure, or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, Something like that. The funny thing is, it's funny that you mentioned that particular, like the ovaries of a plant. I think that I think I have a short where I'm talking about like fruit and kind of defining fruit, and I either put it on TikTok or it's on YouTube, and somebody's in the comment section basically roasting me, like I don't know what I'm talking about. They're like, yeah, fruit has ovaries. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I'm like, bro, it's so crazy because there's a group of people out there that are so confident in their knowledge base and
Mhm.
they're the least knowledgeable people. It's like the less you know, the more confident you're in what you know. It's so
That's so true.
weird.
Chris,
Um,
when I went to Jamaica at 7 years old, they showed like a picture of I went to my cousin's school. They had a picture like they do prayers in the morning. They had a picture, and I'm like, Jamaican people always trying to change things up. Why they got a black Jesus on there, right? So I had no clue. So we're at my auntie's house watching the news again. I'm like, but they putting the black Jesus on the news too. This is weird. So long story short, my aunt who took me to Jamaica had to pull me to the side and educate me. She's like, darling, that's the original picture. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, that's the original picture. They show that picture in Europe. It's just here. It's different. We'll
right.
She had to take that time to educate me about that. So wisdom, being smart is relative, right? But wisdom exceeds that. So that's
Mm.
why, like, don't even latest for the haters, for real.
I'm not worried about it. I don't read comments on TikTok. I stay away from. I actually I don't do comments too much anymore because um I used to respond to every comment and it just was an enormous amount of time resource. I don't have it anymore. But I do my best to do my thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't be worried about people.
No, you're
Uh,
definitely doing a great job. Your interview with another young lady for AHA got me to be more active on TikTok. And I was following her because I was rooting for her, but we haven't heard from her yet. I forgot her name. She was
um, I think
Brittany.
you're talking about Cassandra.
Yes, yes, Cassandra, come back.
Yeah.
Yes, like
Yeah. I haven't heard from Cassandra in a while, so I don't know. I
she
don't
been
know.
a minute. She back with the jump off. She gonna come back. Don't worry.
She travels a lot.
Yeah.
She's always traveling. Um, But yeah, I guess so. You're saying you haven't seen her on TikTok, or she's still on TikTok, or?
So the she was off TikTok for a minute. We were like doing a 21-day challenge. I think it was the second one.
Mm,
And she wasn't really on there that much. And then when she came back, I got the notification I had like fell off of TikTok. And it was just saying like, oh, when somebody hasn't posted in a while. And
mm,
she was saying she fell off, but she's clearing her mind and just keeping in high vibe, which is so true. It's so hard to, not hard, but challenging, because I can have a mirror in front of me. Let's say like you guys are my mirror, right? And I'm like, I will survive being fine. Like I'm trying to talk myself up for my body, this body in this realm. But what am I telling my mind? What am I
mm.
speaking over my mind? Am I at peace within? That's a whole nother ballgame, because I can look like it all day, but it doesn't mean that I have peace of mind within, that when I'm sleeping, my heart is at ease. So that's why I really like following her. Like, she got some funny videos on TikTok, seriously.
Gotcha. Well, maybe this will reach her, and she'll pop back out. But I know she had taken some time off of social media, which Steven talked about in his most recent video. Just the importance of getting off. So I mean, we got to detox from social media. Social media has such an impact on us, and a lot of it is negative, unfortunately,
Mhm.
unless you've put yourself in a cocoon like me. Like, the only social media I do is AHA. Like, I don't really do social media. Like, my Facebook is super dry. My Instagram is, I have a hard time with the AHA Instagram because I'm just so adverse to like posting on Instagram. You know what I mean? I like to live real life, and it's just so much fakeness going on. But I do my best to convey, a sense of reality via social media, and it's been such an amazing tool. We just got to be careful about what we consume, and with that being said, sometimes you got to get off that social media. So, listen, this has been an amazing interview. It was much more than I actually ever imagined, because I was a little confused about, what we were going to be talking about today, but that's all right. We got it on track. And like I said, I know that your story is going to have a great impact on a lot of the women that are um, watching, because people don't like sharing this level of intimacy into their story and their history. They get uncomfortable. So I appreciate your willingness to share and have an impact. Before I forget, did you want to share what was like your future outlook as far as how you want to aid the community, or did you want to share that?
Oh, sure. So, my passion is really the delivery of healthcare. So, you know, um, just to keep it simple, like let's say when they first came out with the AAPCA Act under Obamacare, they called it Obamacare. They tagged it Obamacare back then.
Mhm.
So we had all these facilities where you can go get seen, but actually the actual adjudication of those payments for the services rendered were not being taken care of in a timely fashion. So a lot of people were getting billed instead of it going through the
Uh,
insurance correctly and things like that. So right now I am back in school. That's the running joke in my family. And I am I've actually in 2015 I created a project plan for that billing processor company. So that's what I'm working on, and it's 20.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting approach. Yeah,
Thanks.
no, like, find a problem. I used to be in the wealth building a lot. It's funny how I'm I'm not I still like the idea of wealth building. It's not my primary focus anymore. But it's funny how once I like locked into my passion, all the other things that I thought was like primary goals of mine kind of started coming along with it. Like, you
Mm.
start focusing and working in your passion, your purpose, and all those other things that you thought were so important, they just come along. Anyway, that's a very interesting approach, and just being able to find a problem and solve a problem. Solve a problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's up. I'm glad that we have people out here looking at things from different perspectives, with their own unique experiences. And this is the importance of community, because everybody sees things from different perspectives. Nobody lives your life, so everybody has something unique to offer to the collective knowledge base. And of course, we can build off of one another if we can learn to get along and come together.
Exactly.
So I appreciate your time today. For those who have been listening, make sure to like this video. This is a great video. And I don't know, did you want to share any social media? I'm just
Um,
asking.
I have my YouTube channel.
Okay.
It has a couple of old videos from when I had the fibroid surgery, the myomectomy. I shared some things there. But I just want to give a shout out to Justin. Your interview with him really resonated with me. He was so transparent about his past trauma that that confirmed and affirmed a lot of things for me as a woman, how I want to be perceived amongst the community, and just being more aware of how I come across or project myself. I have no desire to embrace my masculinity. It's a balance. And, I no longer, which I had stopped a long time ago, but it just reinforced my decision to, it's so important that we don't berate each other, that we uplift each other. So yeah, shout out to Justin and Steve and Jazz, Coach Jazz, their interview that you did with them, that really touched me. And Reggie, oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, Reggie, man. We actually did we do it? And well, she was on the show fairly recently, but Reggie's still doing her thing, and she's giving really good information, based on her experience being 50 plus, and you know what I mean. Like I love all the support systems that I have that help make AHA what it is. So shout out to everybody who helps make AHA what it is, including you, for not only just being a part of the community but sharing your journey. Listen, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing more videos like this. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I will see you all next time.